Hello
everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And you come and join us on this wonderful Sunday afternoon. The sun is shining today in Portsmouth, so we hope it's shining where you are as well. So my name is Lia, psychic medium, tarot reader and Reiki healer. We have Polly today. Jane is on a course, so she can't join us, but she will be catching up later. And we have a fabulous guest for you as well today that I'm going to introduce in a second. So over to you, Polly.
Hello everybody, my name is Polly Harnett, and if you haven't seen me before, I am a spiritual medium, tarot card reader, animal healer, communicator, trance medium, you name it, I've had a bash at it. So welcome today everybody.
And our special guest today is Michelle McWilliams. So Michelle is a psychic medium, Reiki master and teacher all the way from Ireland, and that's where she's joining us from today. Me and Michelle actually met in 2018 at the Arthur Findlay College in Stansted, where we did some courses together. So I've known Michelle for a good few years now. She's absolutely brilliant. She's one of the nicest persons that I've ever met. So Michelle, do you want to introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit more about you?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm not really sure how to follow what you've just said. I'm like, oh, very humbled by your introduction, Leah. Thanks very much. So yeah, basically what Leah said. So I am a psychic medium. I'm also a Reiki master and teacher. But actually, Leah, since we met, I haven't really been doing the Reiki so much. So my focus has been on mediumship and psychic readings since then.
And you've been doing it all through Zoom recently, haven't you?
Yeah, just during the lockdown over here, I was doing it via Zoom. Luckily, I'm back to face-to-face now, back to one-to-one now because our restrictions have eased enough to allow me to do that.
Oh, so, thank goodness. Yeah. It's been very busy for us all since we've all opened up again, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if we've got any fellow Irish people on the watching us today, then let us know and give a special welcome to Michelle. So we've got a really interesting topic for you today. I know Polly's buzzing for this topic because she loves things like this, and actually we know that you all do as well. So our topic today is premonitions, deja vu and quantum leaps. So we've got quite a lot to talk about. So we want to ask the audience a few questions, but we'll save a few hellos first if we've got any coming through. Let us know where you're coming in from as well. There we go. Gonna start, Polly?
Hello, Mary Gardner. I thought we were going with Leah first.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Hi, Mary. Hi, Kylie. Thanks for watching.
Hi, Carol. Good afternoon.
Hi, Lynn Taylor.
Oh, hello, Stace. How are you?
Hello, Lady Sage.
Oh, hi, Lady Sage.
Hi, Terry. How are you doing? Oh, you got a lovely welcome there as well, Michelle, from Terry Wall.
Thank you. Thanks, Terry.
Hi, Lenny Hopkins. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Emma. Good afternoon.
Hello, Carol Martin Cathell.
Hi, Christine Davies. Hello, how are you?
And another Christine. Good afternoon, Christine.
Got all the Christines today. You know, my middle name's actually Christine.
Oh, really?
Is it?
Hello, Christine. Yeah.
Oh, hello, Cherry Willman from Tasmania. Tasmania.
Brilliant. Oh, Marguerite, all the way from France. Thanks for joining us.
France is my favourite place on earth.
Hi, Sue. How are you? Sue Boileau.
Hi, Donna
Ooh,
Nova.
North Carolina. Look at this dog.
North Carolina. The dog's even joining in today.
Hi, Natalie Bentley. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Donna Maria O'Connor from Liverpool. Thanks for tuning in.
All over the place today.
Hello, Wendy Jane.
Julie Hall, hello. Thanks for joining us.
And hi, Stephanie Ewing.
Hi, Grace. How are you doing?
And Karen Jones, hello. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Troy Woodford.
Hi, Joanne Lewis. Oh, we're beautiful ladies like that.
Hi, Heidi. Thanks for joining us, as usual.
And Holly Johnston. Thanks for joining today, Holly.
All right. So thank you all so much for tuning in and joining us. We've got a few questions for the audience today. So have you ever experienced deja vu? Have you had a premonition that's maybe come true? Or have you experienced a quantum leap in your life at all? So we want to know everything. Let us know. So deja vu, premonitions, dreams, that kind of thing. We're going to delve into it all as much as possible today. So we're going to start with quantum leaps, I think. Yes, all right. So, Mr. Producer, just to remind everybody, you're going to get readings throughout the show today. Obviously, the more you interact and share and like and basically just chat to us, that's who's going to get the readings. And we're just going to go with who we're drawn with as well. So, let us know in the comments everything that we've just mentioned, and we'll start with quantum leaps. So, I know that Polly loves this topic, so we'll start with you, Polly. And have you ever had any experience with quantum leaps? And first of all, actually, what is a quantum leap for people that don't know?
Well, quantum leap. I think you should explain a quantum leap, because I was just going to check how you're defining a quantum leap before I comment.
Okay, so I actually did a bit of research on quantum leaps, and I feel like everybody has a very slight, a different take on what quantum leaps are. So the main thing is an illogical move from one place to another. So it's basically like jumping from somewhere and then jumping up to somewhere that I guess is better. Even if you're in a situation in your life, or you're in a job that you don't like, and you've all of a sudden just jumped out of it and you're in such a good place, and it seems to be quite a quick move. But then I was also reading other things that said baby steps, and then you get your quantum leap. So I don't know. I think everyone has their own little take on it.
Yeah, I think everyone has a different maybe take or different experience. Maybe that would be more the thing. I mean, I can actually take myself to somewhere, if that makes sense now. So, and it's one of those things that is a sort of developed from doing the trance mediumship and the physical, for example. I've literally been able to leap from a situation where I can take myself completely off, and I can end up feeling literally like I'm not necessarily in this world. I would be in a different dimension or dimensional state, and I can be there, and it is like bliss, like total bliss, to the point where if I wasn't so disciplined, I probably wouldn't want to come back again, if that makes sense. But I've also been able to, I mean, I guess that there's a little bit like astral traveling in it, if that makes sense as well. Is like being able to astral travel when you are awake, or when you're more conscious than when you're asleep, for example, which I've been actually practicing. And it's actually really quite interesting where you can take yourself. And it's not that I sit there with the intention of going somewhere in particular. Does that make sense? But I know that I have gone into a different mind state, a different dimensional state. I feel like especially if you're having maybe a tough time, for example, it's being able to remove yourself from that and take yourself to what actually is, like the source, or the source of life, for example. And it sounds a bit wacky, I know, but I think it's one of those things you can learn, you can practice. I don't think that everyone in the world's going to be able to do it. When I say not able to do it, I don't think that a lot of people have got that belief, maybe, or that belief system. A lot of people would think that the world is very black and white. You're alive and then you pass away, for example. Or they might think that this is the only world, there isn't something else. Does that make sense? So I think that it is something that you can teach yourself, but I think you have to definitely have an open mind to what is achievable, because from what I've been told by my guides, life is multidimensional, and in every single way, you know, we're just energetic states, basically. And if we look at the quantum physics of things, you know, everything is energy. So we think we're sitting on a solid chair. However, that chair is not solid. You know, that chair is energy.
Okay. Okay, so Richard's just asked everybody a question. What material is solid but also liquid at the same time? Trivia there. So what material is solid but also liquid at the same time? Let us know in the comments if you know the answer.
Is it all right if I'm really drawn to Donna Nova, who's commented. And she's just said there, quick move to a better situation if my vibration raised a lot, but not instant. So in her experience, that's been the case. And she's just said she wants to astral travel. But I was quite drawn to choose a card there for Donna. Is it okay if I just do that? So Donna, interestingly, the card that has come up for you is called Odysseus, and it's the journey. So how apt is that? All right, so the tagline underneath that is the journey. That's from the Mythic Oracle deck, which is by Carissa Malado. So astral travel might not be too far away for you then. I think, as Polly, as you were saying, it's maybe about opening up your mind to the possibility and the potential, and kind of looking at it in that way. But also for you, Donna, if it's okay to say, it seems to me as though it looks like there's a lot of changes about to occur in your life, and it feels really, really positive to me. So I think whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And it does seem as well that you might have come through quite a bit of a battle of late. And I think, you're definitely moving towards a lot more positivity here and a lot of change in your life. So, yay, happy days.
Wow, brilliant. Thank you, Michelle. And I think also going back to quantum leaps, I was reading something earlier about vibrational shifts, and that you could say it's like a mini quantum leap. So it's if you're, let's say, at home with your family and you're just not feeling quite right and people are arguing and no one's getting along and that kind of thing, and it's just taking yourself out the situation and just doing a vibrational reset almost. So just stepping out the situation, having putting some music on or doing a little meditation or journaling or something like that, and then going back in the situation. And often when that happens, when you go back in the situation, actually the whole situation around you has changed, and it's like a little mini quantum leap, but actually all you're doing is resetting your vibration. So if anyone's going through some situations at home or something, then maybe just take yourself out, do that little vibrational shift. And I can tell Polly wants to say something. Go for it.
I was just watching, seeing Holly Johnston had written, I experienced this, Polly. I wondered what it was. Yeah, okay. It is quite interesting. I was going to say as well, don't you think, ladies, because obviously we're all readers, okay, that are here today. And do you obviously work with cards, Michelle, as well?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you think about not only our own, say, like quantum shifts or quantum leaps, for example. Mm-hmm. I mean, with regard to readings, you can really see into somebody's future. Okay, people have free will. They choose whether they want to be in a situation or do a situation or go the pretty way around a situation until they get the message, if that makes sense. But there's been so many times as readers that we are like taking this leap into somebody else's future or somebody else's timeline. And I'm literally seeing, I don't know how you guys see it, but literally clear as day. Like, no, this is going to happen around this time. I know you're saying no, but this is going to happen. I really feel it. Mm-hmm. And I've been so confident about it happening, and they have happened. Mm-hmm. So I think that it's as a medium or a psychic or a reader, often we are jumping into other people's, like quantum leaping, if you like, down other people's timelines, and gathering that information that, like I said, made absolutely no sense to them as they're sitting in front of us at that moment. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a fine line there, if that makes sense, between your own quantum leaps or quantum shifts and somebody else's quantum leaps and quantum shifts that they might not be able to see, for example, or access.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Do you feel, Polly, that you quite often live in the future? I know that's a weird question, but do you feel like you're, like, when you do a reading like that, do you feel like you've gone that far forward and then you need to pull yourself back? Or are you
what, for myself or for somebody else?
More for yourself, but even when you're reading other people, I guess, because you are going into that future.
See, I am the most patient person alive with other people, but with myself, I'm the most impatient person ever. And I know that something's coming up for me and whoever else is going to be involved shortly. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I know it's going to happen. But I want to know now what is going to happen.
Yeah.
However, every time I go for a reading to try and find out, they all say, oh, something's going to happen in this month. And it does feel like a team thing, but what is it? Well, I don't know. And I'm obviously not supposed to know at this moment, if that makes sense. So I sort of live in the future because I know that this just isn't it. Does that make sense? If I thought this was it, I'd just carry on and I'd be quite happy with that. But I know it's not just it. So I'm like, right, well, I want to know what the next thing is then.
Yeah, and I think, isn't it so difficult to practice what you preach in that sense? Because I know for a lot of people, you kind of sometimes just trust the divine timing. It's gonna, this is what we've seen. It should turn out in this way, and there's like the when, where, how kind of element to it. And I would be a lot like yourself, Polly. I would be, fine with that for other people and totally trust in the process, totally trust in the spirit world. This will happen. Don't worry, it's gonna happen. For myself, I'm like, when, how, where, why, what, I totally feel you with that. It's hard.
It is frustrating, but then obviously we understand it. And when I give a reading that, to somebody else and it says have patience, the card literally says have patience, I said I'm really, really sorry, because if I got that I'd be like, ah! And they're laughing.
And Michelle, I know you've had some experience with quantum leaps. What was that?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I was using the right terminology or not. To be honest, I was reminded of the TV show from the 80s, which I used to love, but it was Sam Beckett, and he had Ziggy, who used to kind of guide him as such, whenever he used to leap into other people's bodies and so on. So it was kind of similar. So, and this was the thing. So a bit like yourselves, when you're doing readings for other people and you see kind of, I don't know, like remote viewing or premonitions for them or whatever, and for me, that plays out more like a scene that I'm looking at. This was totally different. This was a few weeks ago and I was sitting for the spirit world. And the next thing, I was in my own body in the future. And I know how bonkers this sounds, so do bear with me. But I was literally in my body in the future looking out over a scene. And it's a place that I have never been before. And I haven't actually unveiled this part to you yet, Lia. But I knew that where I was looking at was Portsmouth.
Really?
I knew I was standing looking out over the promenade and the sea at Portsmouth, and there's a pier to my left-hand side.
Right.
And then I reached into my pocket, like into a jacket pocket, and as soon as I did that, I touched something in the pocket, and as soon as I did that, the experience completely changed, and it was as if I was viewing it. So as if it was more like a premonition again. And I was aware of a spirit guy with his hand on my shoulder saying, that's it. Once you see that, that's it. And I was like, yay! And then kind of like, oh, what does that mean? What? That's what? What is this? So I had still no idea what it is that we're talking about, but I just find it really interesting then that a few days later, Leah messaged me.
Yeah. Like
from Portsmouth. I was like, ooh, this is kind of eerie. So I'll be excited to see how it unfolds. But so I don't know. It's probably not a strict definition of a quantum leap, but I just couldn't think of what else.
I just got something in my mind there that you'll put on an old jacket, a jacket that you haven't worn for a while, and you might find something in that pocket.
Yeah.
Let us know when you do.
I look forward to it, yeah.
Right, let's read this from Stephanie Ewing.
Oh, Richard, did anyone answer your question? Okay, so the question from earlier, most people said the answer was water. The answer was glass.
Yeah,
well done
to
the people that got
it's
it.
liquid.
Yeah.
So Stephanie Ewing says, after my son passed several times, my hubby left for work. I would be awake, but all of a sudden it was noon and he was home for lunch and I was still sitting in the same spot, but hours had passed. Yeah, I think that sounds very quantum sort of. Well, it's definitely quantum energy, quantum shifts going on there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it said like there was no time involved there at all.
Yeah, it's really strange, isn't it? How things happen. I'm going to pull a card for Stephanie Ewing. Right, let me see. Oh, so we've got the 5 of summer, and I've got the wrong glasses on. Right, so we have the 5 of summer there for you, Stephanie Ewing. So we've got focus upon the fact that God loves you and always has the highest of intentions for you. A positive outlook makes it easier to recover from life's little difficulties, so you can move forward and upward. So yeah, this is just, do you know what? It's funny. I've told you what the card actually says and what it actually means, but I do want to say with that, the dragonfly always comes to me. If a dragonfly comes to me, I always think there's inevitable change. There's change. Something for the better is coming. It's not necessarily forced. It's not something that you have to look for, but it's almost, I want to say, your luck's changing now, Stephanie. So if you've been having a little bit of a hard time, for example, or been feeling a little bit down, this is just saying here that just don't worry. It's not too much longer before this change comes. And it's almost like so welcome, so unexpected, some good news coming to you, just as you've been feeling quite sort of like you've just been coping with life. It's like, I just love that card, actually. Look at those beautiful yellow flowers. I want to say by June, there's going to be something quite interesting coming your way, and more people coming your way, actually, new friends or new faces, new people that are going to sort of inspire you a little bit there. And I really want to say about getting on to, if you're not already on your spiritual journey, I want to say this is like a sort of push forward in it. Okay, you're becoming more spiritually minded, or an advancement of your spirituality. So I hope that makes sense to you, Stephanie.
Amazing. So just let's talk a little bit about premonitions then. So do you feel like quantum leaps and premonitions are quite similar, or are they quite different? Because I know premonitions is more of a strong feeling that something's about to happen, like the phone rings and you know exactly who it is, or you know that not to drive that way to work today because there's a crash or something like that. So is that the same as a quantum leap, or is that a bit different?
Do you want to go first, Michelle?
Yeah, I would say it's very different. For me, premonition, in my view, is more of an objective experience. So where you're kind of on the outside of that, watching it unfold or looking at it happening, you know, in your mind's eye, or obviously sometimes actually objectively as well, depending on you know, how the reading's going or how you're experiencing it. But for me, the quantum aspect of it, so when time doesn't kind of make sense, or you become a part of a different period in time as such, to me that would be closer to the quantum leap idea. And do you know what I would love, and again this is digressing a little bit, but you remember Charmed? You know how they used to be able to orb? Like, amazing. Life goals, because to me they used to do that all the time, you know. But yeah, I would say that premonition for me is more of an objective experience, where anything quantum, like where time is warped or time is changed, for me would be more subjective experience.
So premonitions is more like the people that predict world events and things like that.
Yeah,
like plane crashes and that kind of thing, natural disasters. That's more of a premonition then, isn't it?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah,
all premonitions of, even like you said, Lia, about something, you just having that gut feeling, for example, or that dream that's really significant. When I was a child, I don't know if I ever told you, Lia, I used to have dreams on the wall, right? And that sounds really mad, right?
That's
but
like
I was only little.
Movie on Netflix, the chess lady, and she sees everything on the ceiling. Is it like
yes,
that?
Yeah. Oh, that's really good, that program. But no, I used to have this plain white wall in my bedroom, and I used to stare at it. And when I was a kid, and I was obviously a bit peculiar from birth, you know, but I was just like, used to stare at it, and my eyes used to go, you know, if you're looking at you know, one of those books with the pictures that are like hidden in the pattern, and then you pull it to your eyes and then pull it out, and then you go a little bit goggly eyed, and then suddenly you can see something. Well, I used to do that, and then I used to have these almost like dream, I used to call them dreams on the wall when I was little, and then I'd see something that would happen, but it hadn't happened yet, so it might happen in a week or a month or the next day, and I knew that they were going to happen. And then I would sort of just keep it in my head. And then when something started happening, I'd say, that's going to happen in a minute. And it did. And I used to freak everybody out. And I remember saying to my brother, but he won't remember this because he was 2.5 years younger than me. Well, he still is. I used to say, do you have dreams on the wall? He said, no. And I'd be like, oh, okay. You know, but there wouldn't be anything groundbreaking. Does that make sense? Just things, conversations, things like that, an argument maybe, something like that. I just know that they were going to happen.
Where do you think that information came from? Do you think it came from a spirit guide, from your own higher self, or what? Where do you think that information came from?
Do you know what? I don't think I've ever thought about it.
No.
I just think it was as something I could do, something I could tap into.
Yeah.
It was just like I used to do it, and then I used to know it was going to happen, and then I can't remember when it stopped even, I just, because I don't have dreams on the wall now,
Yeah, that's amazing.
But I tend to like hear things or know things or have that gut feeling about something. But it was very, very a physical thing. Like it was watching TV on the wall of life, what's going to happen next.
Yeah, awesome. Heidi Spencer saying, I often feel like I've met someone before and often feel deja vu, but not sure how it works. So yeah, we are going to talk about deja vu very soon. And that one's gone. We'll come back to that question when we talk about deja vu. Karen Jones is saying, can a premonition be non-specific? So a definite sense that something significant is going to happen, but not sure what. Michelle, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, when that happens, that's the most frustrating type. If you get that kind of sense of dread or, that sense of, something isn't right, but I don't know what. And then that's difficult, and then you get some bad news or something does happen. For me, that's really hard because there's nothing you can do to interact, to, interject, to prevent that, to give someone a heads up, or, there's nothing you can do about it. And I often wonder, why then do we get that feeling in the first place? Is it to prepare us? Is it just to, give us some sense that if whatever goes on, whatever happens, we're being held, we're okay, and then obviously it can happen the other way too, where it's super positive, and you just feel really excited and that something amazing's coming your way and you don't know what, but you just can't wait for it. So yeah, I think that obviously is much better whenever you have the excitement and the unknown kind of sense. But Karen, I totally would agree with you that it can be non-specific. And for me, that is very frustrating. As a psychic, like we want all the answers. We want the whole thing played out and the A to Z, but it just doesn't happen that way, unfortunately.
Yeah, Karen Jones, I've just pulled your card actually, just because I felt quite drawn to you there. So Karen, you've got a card here that says open your heart. So I'm using the angel tarot cards there. And this is saying, allow love to grow and bloom all around you. You've waited for this emotionally fulfilling experience for such a long time, and now the time has come. Make choices by listening to your heart and then following the steps you're guided to take. And joy will lead you to a vibrant and healthy life. I keep feeling that this is to do with a relationship of somebody that's very close to you. So it could be a partner, a life partner, or it could be a very close friend. I'm not sure which one. It feels like it's a man actually to me, but it's just saying open your heart. And I feel like you might have been hurt in the past, and that's why you're a little bit closed off to maybe meeting new people or even to taking your relationship to the next step. But just make sure that you open your heart, because a very healthy relationship is about to bloom. And I see you being actually very happy with this person. So let me know if that makes sense at all.
Excellent.
So has anyone else at home got any experiences with premonitions?
So Grace Smith.
Grace, yeah.
So when I was around 6 years old, I saw a little old lady and a man in rocking chairs with the little old lady knitting. I still remember it as clear as day. You may have been seeing when we say a ghost, it could be a memory of them, because a ghost and a spirit are very different. A ghost is like a memory. So if you were to see, I was explaining this to my partner the other day, who hadn't really got a clue, as in what's the difference, if that makes sense. And so a ghost, for example, it would be a memory of that person who did that every day or did that a lot and or was very present in that home for whatever reason, and their energy, that energetic imprint, if you like, is walking around and doing what they would be doing had they been alive. It might have been that this little old lady and man were very much in love and they loved their home and they'd been in there for a long time. There's lots of reasons. However, it could be the spirit of those people that were just showing that they were there. I don't know if it's necessarily like a premonition or a quantum leap. It would be more either spiritual or ghost-like, I would say. But lovely that you saw it, because when you're around that age, you're very psychic. It's around the age of 7 where things are changed, or your life conditioning changes you and you become less naturally sort of psychic. Children are very psychic. So, yeah.
So Tony writes, my mum had a dream that her brother was in trouble and got up to get up, told my granddad where he was and that they were, and saved his life.
Oh my goodness.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
That's
Tony,
definitely
I'm quite drawn to Tony, to pull a card for Tony. What an experience. And he was in a gravel pit. Oh my goodness.
My gosh.
That's amazing. So that's one of those ones where, you know, premonition can save someone's life that in that moment. That's fantastic. What amazing experience. Tony, the card that has come up for you is lovely. So again, from the same deck, and this one's called Hebe, who in Greek mythology was the goddess of play and also immortality. All right. For you, I feel like it's time for you to put yourself first. It really feels, Tony, that, you know, you would be the one in the family who everybody kind of puts their stuff onto, you know, the friend who's there to listen for everyone else. But I really feel like you need to let your hair down and have some fun here. I love that you're such a strong homemaker, and I know that, well, naturally, if you've been in lockdown yourself due to COVID, you'll maybe be finding that your home has now become this like palace, that you've done everything in it that you wanted to do. But I just worry a little bit that it might be becoming too much of a sanctuary where you're not getting out so much or not putting yourself out there as much as I feel the world needs you to do so. I feel here as well with you that there's quite a strong, so I know that was a different family member that had that experience, but I do feel with you that there's quite a strong psychic ability there with you, and it actually feels like that's changed in some way of late, so where you might have experienced it stronger through one sense, and for me I feel like that might have been clairsentient, so stronger through feelings. You might be starting to see more clairvoyantly or hear more clairaudiently, so enjoy, and again the tagline on that, play, have some fun, just for you.
That picture looks like Lia.
It does, yeah. Beautiful.
I think I look like quite a lot of the tarot cards.
It's been everybody's inspiration, Leah.
Just to let everyone at home know as well, producer Richard has launched a directory, so it's like an online spiritual directory. It was launched at the beginning of this month, and it's basically a place where holistic therapists, churches, psychics, mediums, healers can all go and put their information, and then you can actually go on the website, put in your postcode, and it will bring up people that are closest to you. So it's really going to help a lot of people. Richard, how do they actually get on there? What's the website? It'll be up on the page. Yeah. Great, so it'll go up on all the channels, but it's going to be really helpful. It's going to be all over the UK. It's in Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, I believe, as well. Sorry, America, Australia, and England. So yes.
Fabulous. Right, Diane Burston. I used to film my mum around, and I could guarantee within 20 minutes I would get a call from somebody in trouble. That has stopped in recent years. Interesting. Do you know, some of these things are for a certain period of time. You know, like I said about my dreams on the wall, for example, or even the way people work, like spiritually, you know, you could be very drawn to working in one way or seeing lots of things, and then suddenly that all stops and they focus on your clairaudience or or one of the other clairs, for example. So things sometimes happen for a period of time. You might instead get gut feelings instead, rather than like necessarily dreaming about somebody or feeling somebody there. So just know that it's not because they aren't talking to you anymore. Is it, guys? It's not because they've just stopped communicating with you. It's just sometimes that your energy or the way you're working is shifting, for example, and then obviously they are trying to work on your skills in other ways. So don't ever feel like anyone's abandoned you from upstairs, because they haven't. We just end up with like different people working with us, different guides, different skills that they're having to work on at that time.
And do you think that's probably because Diane's mum is even working on different things?
Yeah, possibly. My granddad used to come through all the time, every reading. He doesn't so much now, very rarely, in fact, but at one point it was all the time and nobody else. And now it's different family members.
Like he's progressed onto his next spiritual adventure.
Maybe. But I just feel like as long as we're guided in some way, they never abandon us. I think that they maybe are just helping, for example, for a while to make us, because it's somebody familiar up there that's helping us. it gives us the confidence to listen to it. Does that make sense? Or to embrace that part of us that maybe we hadn't experienced before, and then they're going to move you on to something else, or somebody else is going to come there and give you a hand from upstairs.
Absolutely. I think as well, Diane, it could be that when your mum's aware that you've got that, so you know how that feels, you know what you're experiencing in your own system when that happens, whenever you were getting those kind of heads up or warnings, I guess, from mum, it kind of puts it back into allowing yourself your own spiritual autonomy. So where you're aware that actually I'm also a spirit in a human body right now, you know, I'm aware of these things too. And maybe mum at that stage felt like, okay, she's got this, you know, she knows how this feels, she knows what's going on, I don't need to help her with that part anymore. But like what you were saying, Polly, about, you know, once that's been done and they kind of move on then to a different aspect. So because I think it's really important that everybody realizes that we are all spirit people in a body, you know, so it's, so I think just, you know, kind of maybe putting the power back in your hands, or giving you your own autonomy on that, your own self-governance with that as well, might be what was going on there, maybe.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about deja vu then. So I know a lot of people at home would have said that they've experienced deja vu. So the meaning of deja vu then, the feeling that one has lived through the present situation before. And I'm going to pull a card for anyone, or the first person to tell me what deja vu means in English. So I believe deja vu is French, but let me know what it means in English, and no cheating. Don't go on Google.
Yeah, no Googling or you're disqualified.
Exactly.
And we're psychic.
We'll know.
So I see, we were so psychic, we even said the same thing at the same time.
So telepathic. Lenny Hopkins can't remember what year this was, but someone else might remember. My granddad was a massive gambler. So as a kid, Grand National Day was important for the whole family, and had a bet, even the kids. One year I just said, there's no point in betting, no one is going to win. My family gave me a strange look and telling me, sorry, I missed that last bit. Oh, I'm confused now, sorry, Richard's reading it out. Oh, you can see it, sorry. Right.
Wow, yeah.
So that's a premonition. Right, okay. So you knew then that you had that feeling. Yeah. Yeah. So people on Facebook, because we're streaming on Facebook and YouTube. So people on Facebook, if you can try and keep the characters to 200, then we can read it all out. Otherwise, Richard has to tell us in our ear, and then it gets confusing. So even if you have to send it in two, maybe that would help. So Sue is saying, when my mum passed, I saw a bright light flash and smelt lavender, which was my nanny's smell. Always take comfort from this. Yeah, that's lovely. That's lovely. Donna Marie O'Connor, I had a vision where I saw my dressing table filled with roses. Does anyone know what that means? Any ideas?
What colour were the roses? That can make a difference. Yeah. Sometimes, well, it could mean anything. Obviously, without sort of being able to link in with you properly, I would say that it was probably, if you look back and into, like, for example, funerals or you know, when somebody's passed away, if they had that specific colour rose, or for example, if that was their favourite rose or their favourite flower, I would say that it would be a message from them. Sometimes it's just a message from above. If that was your favourite flower, for example, that you know, that you're looked after, that they're there for you. It really could mean many things. But I sort of need to know the whole vision. Does that make sense? It'd be like, if somebody asked me to interpret a dream, I'd have to know the whole dream, because then I could make sense of the whole thing.
I keep being drawn to an older lady with you, Donna, and I feel like it could be a grandmother. And I feel that something on that dressing table actually belonged to her. I don't know if it's a piece of jewellery or like a mirror or something like that, but let me know if that makes sense. And I feel like the roses were actually red as well, a reddy pink colour. But yeah, let us know. So deja vu then. Michelle, have you ever experienced deja vu?
Yeah, quite a bit actually. Again, for me, it's one of those frustrating ones where it's almost like, on computers when time buffers. Like if you're kind of waiting for something. For me, that's how I experience deja vu. So you know what's coming next, but it's like your brain can't catch up with that knowledge of what's coming next. So it's really, really, again, for me, I find it quite frustrating, and odd. But yeah, I just wonder what is that? What are we experiencing when that happens? If anybody has any thoughts on that, or
and nobody understands what it is. Like all the
really,
scientists, nobody actually understands yet what deja vu is. There's not really a meaning for it. Donna's saying they were pink roses and were glowing.
Well, pink roses represent love. It's literally love. I know that the red roses you'd think were the love, and that would be more of a like a relationship love, if that makes sense. Where the pink roses, pink there is always from the heart, so they would be like literally a message from somebody or a message from the heart. So if they were white roses, for example, they could be very angelic. Thank you. I do have my nan around me. Yeah, I really want to say, if that was something that was relevant to her, it would be relevant. That's why you'd see that, for example, especially if it was either around an anniversary of a passing, or you were just simply having quite a hard time. It could very much be related there. I keep seeing a nanny. I keep calling her nanny or nana with you, but not gran. But this lady she's a bit. She could even be a great grandmother, but she's not particularly tall. Probably about between 5 foot and 5'2". She's quite buxom, I want to say, with her as well. She's got quite a round face but a very jolly face. But she's one of them. She keeps wearing an apron there. So she was either very good at cooking or wore an apron or pity a lot. And she's almost buxom. It's almost like I've got to either fold my arms over the top of them or fold my arms underneath them, bless her. Right? She's one of them that she's very kind, but she's not a huggy nan. She's one of those sort of say it how it is sort of ladies there. And she's talking about like the name Edna, or the name Edna would be relevant to her somehow. Okay, that she just wants you to know that she's around her right now, to be honest, Donna. She's just around you. She wants you to be careful of, I think it's your back and your knee that she wants you to be careful of, and she needs you to look into alternative therapies for that, or holistic therapies rather than tablets. Okay, I'm not saying please don't come off tablets if you're on tablets, but just maybe looking into maybe some more natural remedies or something that seems to be helping in that area. It feels either a little bit arthritic or a little bit like some bones rubbing on bone or something with either you or somebody close to you, that you've got to get it sorted out, basically. All right, so I feel like you need to get moving a bit, but it's a bit difficult for some reason. I hope that made some sense to you, Donna.
Yeah. Okay, so Donna, you could actually also use the directory to find a holistic therapist near you. But also with the directory, it is also in Scotland as well. So anyone that's watching from Scotland, that directory can be used for you as well.
So don't you worry, all you Scottish people.
So Polly, you experienced deja vu?
Deja vu, it's funny because when you were just talking, Michelle, my guides have actually come through before, and I have probably mentioned this before on here, and said that actually, because life, like we were talking earlier, life is multidimensional. So you can be having like a forward life, a past life, side to side lives, and up there life. Does that make sense? There's so many parts of you that are living in other sort of dimensions, that actually they've said to me that what you're doing is jumping forward. So it's almost like a quantum leap, if you like, forward. So you've just experienced in that moment a forward part of your life, something from the future. So like you said with your Portsmouth and thing, and then you're seeing the pier and you knew something was going to be relevant there. You might do that. Does that make sense? Into the future, you might be in that place at that time doing that thing. Whereas a deja vu is a leap forward, and then you've experienced a forward part of your life. Okay, so it's quite interesting. People think it could be back in time, but you're actually leaping forward and then back again. So you feel like you've been there before, done it before, because you actually have. You've already done it in the future.
Yeah, because
Sounds a bit wacky.
when I go to places, so whether I'm traveling somewhere or I've walked into somewhere for the first time, but I feel like I've been there before, so that would make sense.
Yeah, that actually happened to me in Europe. I was away with family, and it was I think it was Brussels we were in, and I had never been before. And my brother and I were kind of getting a bit bored as kids, a bit fed up with all this architecture and stuff, what we're going to do. And I said, Mum, we're going to go to this market that's just around the corner here to the left. And Mum went, what market? And I was like, there's one just around the corner here to the left. It's huge, big. And she was like, I don't think there is. I said, no, there definitely is. So they walked around with us, and sure enough, this huge, big market of the square. And she was like, how did you know this? I was like, I don't know. So, yeah.
Amazing. So the answer that I was looking for, what déjà vu means in English, was already seen. So the words that it meant, so already seen. So Richard, can you find somebody that had something similar to that? We'll do that little reading. Yeah, something like close to you.
I think a lot of us, even the non-believers, if that makes sense, will have experienced deja vu. I don't think there's anybody that won't at some point in their life experience it. Or like you said, chatting to people, for example, that you may think you've already known. However, I do think that could be a very different thing, because if you are in the same soul family, for example, or if you've had a past life together, for example, you could be very drawn to the energy of that person because you have experienced them before. I mean, they might have been in another body or a different energetic state, for example. But yeah, there's I think everything borders on like touching into different things. Deja vu, I would say, is very different than meeting somebody that you have met in some sort of soul connection before.
Who are we going with, Richard? Right, okay. Right, so we're going with Ross Roshi. Is that right? Yeah, Ross Roche. Deja vu, a feeling that someone has experienced a certain situation before in the past. Okay, we'll give you a reading, Ross. Here we go. Okay, so angel cards, a win-win solution is what has come up for you, Ross. So I feel like straight away that this is something to do with work, actually, and it's talking about that there's a strength in diversity. So by blending your ideas with people, with other people, you can often come up with a solution that's magnificent. So this keeps drawing me to a work situation with different teams and working with different people. I'm not sure if it's something to do with marketing or creative or something like that. But start by focusing on the aspects that everyone agrees upon, and then open your mind to compromise and working together. Stay balanced and seek out a moderate approach. So it feels like quite a big topic or something that you're going to be working towards. But yeah, just be open to working with other people. And I feel like there's a female involved as well, and she's sort of going to be running this, and you'll have a lot of good ideas. So let me know if that makes sense. And I keep getting end of May, June time for this situation. Let me know if that makes sense. Ross, again, thank you for choosing me. Is there anyone in spirit for me? See, Ross. Yeah, let me know if the one that I've said makes sense. But I actually feel like there's a gentleman in spirit for you, but he doesn't feel old. It feels more like a friend. I want to say the age of 32 for some reason. Let me know if that part makes sense, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so has anyone got any other experiences of deja vu that they want to talk about?
Oh, deja vu.
Yes, Polly's got a friend.
I had a friend a long time ago when it was when I had horses, and at the stable, and she could never say deja vu, and it was also it was deja vu. I'm having deja vu, and I used to love that. I never wanted to call it deja vu ever again. So Marguerite, I have seen a building in my mind's eye, and years past I ended up living in London, got a job interview for a job in a theatre, and as I was walking closer to the building, I recognised it. It was that building vision. It was a Royal Albert Hall. Ooh, wow. That's a nice little premonition, isn't it?
Yeah, there. Yeah, that's amazing. Heidi, I often feel like I've met someone before and often feel deja vu, but not sure how it works.
I think, isn't it really interesting that, because as you were saying as well, Polly, so many people experience deja vu, probably more so than premonitions and things, and it's so widespread, and yet we don't really have an understanding of what it is that's going on. You know, I know, Leah, you were saying that you find it hard to find an understanding or a definition or even of what exactly it is. So I just find that really interesting. I'm wondering, is there some kind of scientific test they can do, some kind of, you know, to figure it out?
They tried to do quite a few tests and they just couldn't figure it out, because even people that weren't spiritual at all were also experiencing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was quite interesting.
Interesting.
Oh, happy Mother's Day. I think that's in America, is it?
It's
at the moment. Australia.
Australia. Happy Mother's
Thank
Day.
you.
Australian mothers.
So, anyone else got any things regarding deja vu or anything that they would like to talk about? Any interesting comments that we have?
See, going back to like when you know the phone's going to ring and you know exactly who it is that's on the other line, is that telepathy, or is that more of a premonition?
I think that it's probably more.
Or would it be telepathy if you were calling someone and they were calling you at the same time?
I don't know, because I would say there that because, well, obviously if you're only going to know the person that's calling, for example, if you know them, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if somebody called from some spam call from, you know, have you had an accident that isn't your fault? You probably think, oh yeah, it's one of them calls again. But you know, but if I have got or any of you guys, which obviously you have, you've got family, you've got friends, you've got people that are close to you, and because you have, if there is a closeness, even with people you don't like, I want to say, okay, or once you did, you know, you can often feel their presence, or you can often feel their feelings or emotions. And if I think, oh, I don't know, Leah's in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Leah's in my head. I hope she's all right. And then suddenly Leah texts me and said, hi, Polly. And I'm thinking, oh, my God. But because there's an etheric chord there. And for some reason, I've picked up on the fact that Leah's not feeling 100%, for example. And then I've popped into Leah's head because I've been thinking about Leah. And then you've texted me. And I'm thinking, wow, that's, you know, what a coincidence. Well, obviously, I wouldn't be thinking it's coincidence because I don't believe in coincidence. However, you know, you could think, what a coincidence, couldn't you? Or you could do the same with Michelle, for example, thinking, I just don't know why Michelle's in my head, but you know, give her a text and she's, just thinking about you. That's really weird. So I think it's more to do with that etheric chord, that etheric emotional chord that would be between you, for example. It's like knowing that, you know, your children, for example, you've got a feeling that there's something wrong with your child or your friend or your mum or your dad, or a health thing, or I think that's all to do with emotional chords, to be fair.
Yeah, that makes sense. So Amber Patrick, I have deja vu often. Also, I have had dreams of future events and the next day it actually happens. Also, having dreams of family members and then finding out they have passed away. Dreams are very interesting.
They are very interesting. Don't dream about me, Amber.
Yeah, very much so. And I guess for me, sometimes, dreams that you've been having there, Amber, dreams of future events, next day actually happen. So again, that for me would be a premonition coming through in a dream. The dreams of family members and then find out they've passed, I wonder, are they actual visits that you're having while you're asleep? You know, because it's much easier, I guess, for the spirit world to connect when we are in that slightly altered state we would be in our dream state. So possibly visits from those people. But yeah, they are very interesting.
Very probably. I've pulled Amber a card there. This one here, the sea lion. Cute. Right, I'm going to read it to you if I can see with my wrong glasses on. Your worries and fears aren't real. They're fueled by focusing upon the negative, which gives great power to that of which you're afraid of. Stop worrying, let go of fear, and everything will be okay. Now, this card is a card, it's a temporary card as well. So please don't worry that this is like a permanent fixture in your life. I think a lot of people, for different reasons, have had a lot going on in their lives. I do feel like you're a bit of a silent worrier, though, Amber. I've got to be honest with you. One of those people that doesn't really talk about what's going on in their brain, okay? And it feels with you that you have to sort of, we don't have to, obviously, but it would be a good idea to open up to somebody, or rather than sort of looking after everyone else, which you're very prone to doing, almost like people recognize you as being quite strong, or one of the stronger ones there, and you sort of get on with it. I really want to say that if there is been anything going on with you, or has been anything going on with you, it is a temporary thing. It just feels like a bit emotional, a bit up and down there. But just know, if you are particularly thinking about dreams, actually, if you are finding that you're having sort of dreams that are bringing up the past, I want to say there just seems to be a couple of bits there that you just need to let go of from the past so that you can move forward. You really are shifting from one sort of dimensional state to another at the moment, Amber, which will be hard work. Okay, believe me, I've gone through it. I think probably all of us here have. Okay, where you're sort of going from very much from the third dimensional, passing through the fourth to get to the fifth. There's a really higher state of energy into the future coming for you, and a higher knowing for you. I do feel like often you're going to have to stand alone with something, or take a part of your journey alone, or be a bit of a lone wolf. Okay, that's fine. You can still have people around you and do what you need to do, but predominantly it feels like there's a project or something that you really need to stand up there and have the confidence to do, and not worry about needing support of others. Maybe to get there, yes, but when you're actually up there, stand by yourself like the sea lion on that rock, okay, and sod the world and get on with what you want to do. Awesome. There you go.
And Amber, just last thing for you about your dreams and future events and things. I think it'll be really important for you to keep a diary of everything that comes up. Make sure you tell others about it as well, and be specific about the timings and the dates and exactly what it is you're seeing, because I think that'll be really interesting for you to then look back at and really see where you've gone right. And there might be a few things that are slightly off, but then you'll just build on that, because I see something there for you with dreams and things.
Oh, do you know what's just come into my head? What? Right. I don't know why, but it just did. But you like it's like psychic investigations, don't you, Lia? I don't know if you've ever done anything like that, Michelle.
No, I haven't.
No. But I find that very interesting. I was thinking about that earlier, actually, where you can almost be looking through somebody else's eyes. Does that make sense? And I've done it before. I don't do it often, but I have done. Literally feel like I am that person looking through their eyes, but I've sort of gone back to where they were, for example, and then where they are now.
Yeah.
I've actually practiced it if there has been obviously an unfortunate incident that obviously could be anywhere in the world, and I've like tried to tap into that to see if I can get any knowledge, and a lot of the time I've been quite right. There's things that I haven't, as well. You don't know whether it's your imagination creeping in a little bit sometimes, do you? Because you don't know that person, you don't know the situation, you don't know the whole story. But it's very interesting to do that, and I always think that can be a sort of very time glitchy, so you can go backwards in that time into that person, to their past moment, and then go forward to where they possibly are now, if they're still alive, if they're not still alive, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a little bit like remote viewing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I actually just tell you a really quick story. So the lady that I've been doing psychic investigation with is really.
Oh.
There we go then. That's something maybe telepathy. So yeah, the lady that I've been doing the psychic investigations with is Lisa Williams. So a lot of people probably know who Lisa Williams is. She's quite a famous psychic medium, and she's got her own TV programs and things. And she told us a story once of she got taken to Australia. So she lives in New York, but she's been taken to Australia to do a psychic investigation. As soon as she was picked up from the airport, she was blindfolded, so she doesn't know anything where she's going, but she knew in her mind where she was going. And they took her basically to an open field. There wasn't really anything around, and she just had to go back in her mind what happened here and there. And the one thing that she said, so there was nobody there at this time, it was literally just her. And she said there was a Chinese man here who was taking pictures at the time that this man stabbed the woman, and you need to find that Chinese man because all the pictures, all the evidence is on his camera, and he's leaving tonight. He'll be at the airport between this time and this time. Go and find him. And they did. The police went, found this Chinese man, looked on his camera roll, and saw, when they zoomed right in, a man stabbing the woman. And
wow.
Pictures, all the evidence was there. And she did that all just going to the field, tapping into what she saw, and it was all true. And she really helped to like solve this murder.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's
so
fascinating, isn't it?
That's the kind of job of psychic investigators. They don't specifically solve the murder on their own, but they give little golden nuggets that actually leads to something that people would never have found out. So that's crazy.
I think that idea as well of like the little golden nuggets, even in ordinary psychic readings, you know, that you're doing when people come to see you. I think that's important too, isn't it? That to know that we don't always have, as I was saying earlier, like A, B, C, D. We don't have the whole alphabet, but we might get like A, E, G, and then you've got to kind of lead yourself along to those little bits as well. Yeah, so that's interesting then that happened. Wow.
Yeah, Shiloh Star is saying, evening ladies and Spiritual Productions family, happy Mother's Day to all of you from Melbourne, Australia. Happy
Mother's Day.
Hello,
Hannah from Sweden.
Hello, Hannah.
Hi from Sonia. Somerset, Sonia.
Hi, Karen from Canada, Yellowknife Northwest Territories in Canada. Karen, I feel quite drawn to you. I think I would like to choose a little card for you. And I feel like, Karen, you're very much a to-the-point kind of lady. So I'm going to use a different deck this time. And the deck that I'm using is Yasmin Boland's Moonology Oracle cards. And sometimes you just need a yes or no, or will I or won't I? So the card that's come out here is adjustments are required, okay, and that is a third quarter moon. So actually in this deck, this is probably the least black and white card that you're going to have. So I've kind of tripped myself up with that, haven't I? But let me have a little look and see what's going on with you. Okay. So Karen, I'm feeling with this that there's a sense of frustration with you at the minute with regard to heart health, and I don't believe that it's your own heart health that I'm talking about with this. And I know that you've been in someone's ear to tell them to go along, get seen to, go along, get checked out, and so on. And I feel like another little push with that would be a really good idea. And I know it's your sense of frustration that I'm picking up on this idea of adjustments needing required. But don't worry, because it seems to me that things are all, you know, quite calm, quite okay. But I do agree with you, and I do feel your frustration. So have another little word in there, shell-like, and see if you can encourage a wee bit of investigation into that. Thanks, Karen.
Amazing. So, Richard, how much time have we got left? Okay, so okay. Hi, Beth Dixon from Northamptonshire.
Polly, how do you astral travel, Lady Sage? It's sometimes people do it. Sorry, I'll just read Amber's quickly. Oh my gosh, Polly, 100% spot on everything. Thank you so much. I appreciate it greatly. You ladies are amazing. Oh, thank you, Amber. You're amazing too, my lovely. So how do you astral travel? Well, some people just do it start doing it naturally. Have you ladies done it?
Yes.
Like in your sleep and literally been traveling to somewhere else, whether that be somebody in this life, somebody from, you know, it could be, I've astral traveled to my grandmother's house, weirdly, when she had passed away, and had a whole conversation with her. But then I've also astral traveled quite accidentally, I say, not accidentally, it was obviously supposed to happen, to my friend's house. His daughter was having problems psychically, actually, and I astral traveled to her bedroom, and I was watching her asleep, and even explained what pajamas she had on. That was quite interesting. But actually, you can actually learn to astral travel. Now, if you are to do it in a more, like, you know, you take yourself off to meditate and your intention is to travel, it does take some work. Some people are going to be more natural than others. Okay, some people are going to struggle a little bit at first. There's lots of exercises that you can do, but a lot of them are going into like that altered state. Okay, so learning to be working in an altered state, or sitting in your power, sitting in an altered state, and then having an intention to travel. Now I would say don't necessarily have an intention to travel anywhere particular, because then I would say that your imagination can knock into that. But maybe you're asking your intention there to take you somewhere to help someone, to experience something that you need to experience, for example, or a lesson that you need to learn, take you to that place, that situation. It could even be that your intention is to be going up there, you know, and having a little tour up there, or even to an alien planet. Why not?
You can always ask your spirit guide to come with you as well.
Absolutely.
I actually had quite an intense experience of, I guess now that I think about it, now that you said that, Polly, of astral travel. A family member was in hospital, and about 3 a.m. we got a phone call, and immediately I started sending Reiki to them before I answered the phone, because I knew it wasn't good news. And sure enough, it was, you know, this person, he's unresponsive, you know, you need to get to the hospital immediately, he's unresponsive, we can't get him round. And we were like, oh no. So I'm sending Reiki to him this whole time. Got to the hospital. By the time we got there, they'd managed to resuscitate him, and he was kind of back with us again, which is fab. But the nurses were saying, he's been asking for you. He was convinced you were with him. He's convinced you've been by his side. And he described to them what I was wearing. He said, where is she? Where's Michelle? She was here a minute ago. She's wearing those blue shoes. Where is she? And I trotted up. I actually ran up the hospital with no shoes on. I was carrying them in my hand. I ran up the hospital with my blue shoes in my hand, and got to the ward. And the nurses all were like agog, like looking at each other, thinking, how did he know this? What has happened? And I didn't actually take it in that that's been astral travel at that stage.
Yeah, so, it is. Yeah, it is, because I mean, and he was obviously very conscious of the fact as well, and because obviously you had that link, it would be very easy for him to see you there, because consciously you were there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. So I'm just going to give Christine Murray's a card. So Christine's written, lovely show. I'm just going to give you one card, Christine. Here we go. So Guardian of Action. Okay, so with this card, it's telling you that it's time for you to step up and be the leader, because I do feel like you are a natural leader, but you've been a bit shy around something recently, but your natural leadership skills are being called into action, and it's your moment to shine. So move into the light, show everyone what you can do. And this card is also about enjoying a challenge. So whatever it is that's coming up, just enjoy it. And I don't think that you're somebody that likes the spotlight, but I feel like you deserve this. So a bit of leadership, let yourself be in the spotlight, and really show people what you can do. Just step into the light and shine. Hope that makes sense.
Sorry, when anyone says step into the light, I always put Carol Ann on the end of it.
Yeah, don't do that, Christine, don't do that.
That film scarred me, clearly. Right.
Say that again, Richard. Okay, so we're just going to tell you all what is happening on SPTV tonight and tomorrow. Okay, so tonight is the VIP Zoom Fledglings evening. And what time is that? And that's at 8 o'clock tonight. Okay, so tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, we've got Matt and Christy with their live readings. And spiritual guidance as well. And that's tomorrow at 8, yeah. Okay, so Community Showcase is a new show that is coming up for anybody that wants to actually come on the show and join SPTV. So there'll be more information on the page.
Yeah, so I think from that, we have already been told that it isn't just necessarily readers and spiritual people. It could be people with inspiring poems. Is that right, Mr. P? Inspiring poems. It could be a talent or something that you feel like you would like to share. Please keep it clean. Anything that you feel would be relevant to share, or that you would like to share. Maybe you've never been on, like, you know, doing what we're doing today and never been on the screen in front of people. It would be your first debut show. And that's really good. You know, we all have to start somewhere. We all have to start somewhere. And you believe me, with SPTV, you are looked after. You are totally looked after, and the viewers are absolutely wonderful. We love you viewers out there.
We do. And Christine, the lady that I've just given the reading to, Christine Murray's, that you've just popped in my head for that. So I don't know if there's a little topic that you want to talk about or something, but you might want to consider the community showcase as well. Mary Gardner, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, that's a nice little emoji.
That is a nice emoji.
My cat is called Mr. P.
As long as he doesn't pee up anything or in anything.
Okay, so Michelle, thank you so much for joining us. We've really enjoyed having you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me, and lovely to meet you, Polly, as well, and you, Richard.
And you. It's
been an absolute blessing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so if you want to check out Michelle's page, her page will be there, Michelle McWilliams. Okay, so we will see you. We're actually back next Sunday. We're going to slightly swap our Sundays around. So we're back next Sunday with a brand new topic, and Jane, Martin will be back to join us as well. So we'll see you next Sunday.
Fabulous.
Bye.
Bye.